And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Season 2 of the Universal Open, presented by 7-Eleven and Brit. Now, we've just seen NRG2 be our first qualifier for the regionals, and now we've got our next match coming up, and of course, that is going to be Spacestation taking on Upper 90 eSports, gentlemen. Now, we've already seen some Upper 90 eSports in the previous days here, but it's going to be our first viewing of Spacestation on the broadcast. Shogun,
yes.
What can we expect?
I think it's going to be pretty much one of our closest games we should see today. And, you know, in hindsight, I look at the bracket that these Upper 90 boys have had, and if Rederican actually turned up, they would have had the hardest route to this point of any. They would have had Rederican, Splice, then Space Station.
I mean, you could put G2 there. That'd be the hardest route.
I mean,
well, they're on different sides of the bracket. They're on different sides of the bracket.
Yeah, that'd be mean
no, you're totally
at that
right.
point.
You're totally right. You're totally right. I take it back. But it would be really hard.
Well, they could be about to finish it. They won one by default. The Shogun and Achieve special right there.
That's the best way to win.
A win's a win. As far as I'm concerned, a win is a win. But Achieves, tell us a little bit about this team, Space Station. We haven't seen so far, and you know, what can we expect? Where are we expecting to be one of the qualifiers here?
So Vince and Halcyon have been around. I mean, since what, season 2-ish?
Yeah, ever since I called him Halicon.
Yeah. Never forget.
I've got plenty of goofs on my name, okay? It's all good.
We all do. The Boston Splice group is doing quite well. But no, Vince and Halcyon have been around Rocket League for a really long time. Vince kind of came onto the scene on Take 3 really back in Season 1. Halcyon, Season 2 was set to destroy and all of them. Then they all sort of came together under the Hollywood Hammers name and played in the Rival Series. They did pretty close. They almost made top 2. They ended up taking 3rd place this last year, so they decided to play some 2v2 instead. They don't really play a lot of 2s, though, so they're a little bit... I won't say like worried, but they're like, look, man, 2s is really hard. That's about their approach.
And to sort of like go into this a little bit more, Hollywood Hammers, and I think it's like a North American curse, so to speak, because they were one of those teams that were getting really bigged up. Because during one of the rival weeks, they beat Rogue, was an RCS team. Remember, Hollywood Hammers weren't even a rival series team at the time. You know, twice in one of those best of 3, best of 7s. That took a really long time. That was a war of attrition, that was.
The best of 3, best of 7s, yes.
Yeah, you definitely deserve your win if you take a couple of games like that. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting matchup. This could potentially be, well, the winner of this will be our second qualifier for the regionals, which is, again, very exciting. They'll be joining NRG2, who we just saw go through. But on the other side of this, gentlemen, the loser of this, again, we've talked about this like Shark Tank of a lower bracket. They don't want to be falling into that, but it looks like we're about to get into our game. So, gentlemen, it's Space Station versus Upper 90 eSports. Once again, Achieves and Shogun will be your commentators.
As you did mention, that lower bracket is around, and waiting in it is Splice. So will it be a rematch against Upper 90, or Space Station have to take on Splice in that round? We're about to find out. Rapid and First Killer were so good the other day. Just those individual plays. Don't expect to see too much come out in the form of teamwork unless they've been really trying that out the last few days. Instead, just look to see awesome 50-50s, incredible dribble plays, and just that little bit of flair.
And the start, not quite the hottest thing in the world for Halcyon and Vince. A couple strange challenge angles, a lot of wasted boost, and what a shot from Rapid. And First Killer and Rapid, they're not pulling any punches here, as that one's again off the back wall.
Now going to be Rapid taking over. It is just punch after punch so far from Upper 90. But finally, it looks like they might be a little bit punched out, as Space Station can move themselves to the other end of the field. Need to make something here, though. Halcyon has got the setup, but just never is going to quite settle down for Vince to take the shot. Need to be very careful with their positioning right now. Both Space Station players are quite far up, so as you can see, Halcyon did decide to rotate back just a little bit. That boost still not around for him to steal. Still hasn't popped up either. Must have just been picked up before the camera went over there. Rapid, one-on-one against Halcyon.
He gets stuck in, so now that they've settled in a little bit, I expect a little bit cleaner play from them.
Boost didn't turn up, but Halcyon does get it the second time round. And now they've just tried to power it from one end to the other. As goals come, not the prettiest, but a goal's a goal.
A goal is indeed a goal. Versus Killer, it's not the worst challenge. The problem is Rapid is playing a fairly defensive position, expecting his teammate maybe not to win that, or at least lose it straight out to the opposite end of the pitch, and Vince just waiting in the net has a better angle.
Two different players taking two different approaches to where that ball would go. Space Station coming out the better for it. Ball will drop down for First Killer, who decides to play it early off the backboard. Halcyon Should be able to deal with that one pretty well, and he does.
Kind of takes the wind out of your sails too if you're first killer in Rapid. You started off so well offensively, a lot of decent chances at the net, and then you get one like that scored on you.
It's one of the ones that hurt the most because just comes out of nowhere. You're playing so well, you've got all the control, but this is the opportunity for Rapid to turn it in. 1 goal apiece, up in 90, able to respond.
And that's the best way to get it right back. It's you sort of put that all out of your mind. You win a nice challenge here in the midfield, beat Vince to the ball, and get a little help from the post there, and it rolls its way on in.
Exactly as they need it as well. Up at 90, should be able to do pretty well on those 1v1 situations. Not even necessarily cleanly winning like they just there, but forcing a very decent challenge. First killer. Straight down the middle. Wants to see if he can force a poor touch out of Halcyon. Rapid taking it up. Low boost. But Vince can take over. How much has he got? He's got enough to try and deal with this. We'll be taking it over to the far side. Using a bit of height. Now back over to the middle. First killer has jumped incredibly early. Rapid wouldn't have been able to get to that one even if he tried.
2-on-1.
They played it very early though. And very direct. Those passes have got to be in front of the car rather than behind it or even into it. Still, Spacestation struggling to clear their lines. Rapid just flicks up. Wants to force the move from Vince, and there's the second touch. I don't think Vince knew anything about that, but he'll happily see that one. The first killer set up to Rapid. 2 goals to 1.
I love what's coming out at upper 90 right now. They are just sharking all over this defense. They're saying, look, we're going to sit right in front of you, and if you don't play it perfectly around me, we're going to be right there to put it home. And they've done an excellent job applying so much pressure to Space Station. And the best part is they haven't had to do a lot to apply pressure. They just sit really close and say, don't mess up.
Yeah, there's been a lot of times where they've decided to play a purposefully loose ball. Speaking of loose balls, that one should be turned in. It is. And that is a hat trick for Rapid.
That is a hat trick for Rapid. And Halcyon just cardinal sin, smashes it off the side wall as his teammate gets demoed, and that's it.
Yeah, even without the demo, that was still a very risky play to be going for. But upper 90 have boxed in their opponents. What I've really liked is just how patient they've been with some of their plays. They don't require immediate results. They are happy just to force some boost out of an opponent. Great challenge win from Rapid.
They'll swipe the corner boost. They don't even care about that ball. They're just saying, look, you're not going to have a lot of options on offense here.
There's even been times where, even in offense, they're just tipping the ball up high and forcing one of the Space Station defenders to just jump for it. There's going to be a shot on target, and then there's the recovery from first killer. Huge opportunity for Space Station to get back into this game. It goes away from them after an incredible save out of nowhere. First killer keeping the 2-goal cushion intact.
It's nice to see it come on both sides of the ball. And how about this turnaround up into the middle of the field and gets a nice side roll into the top left? They're on fire.
We've been talking about the 1v1 skill. Here's some of the teamwork. Rapid upper side of the goal. Smashed it.
What do you call it over here? A corker?
There's many things you can call it. A corker, a blinder, a thunderous strike, a cracking shot, or just generally a good goal.
A good goal. I like that one.
Vince, let's try and find some way through, but with 20 seconds remaining, this game could very well have got away from Space Station.
Oh, yeah.
It was a very good start for them, but
I don't know about
upper
that.
90.
I don't think a very good start for upper 90, sure.
Upper 90 definitely overwhelmed them towards the other end of the game, and it has continued to be exactly like that. 5 goals to 1. Just no challenge right now for a team as mechanically skillful as upper 90. You've got to be up in their faces.
You really do. And Halcyon and Vince, I think they're going to be well aware of that coming into game 2. And first killer and Rapid, what was really interesting was like the pace was up, but as soon as they got onto the other half, they pulled out all those 1v1 abilities that we talk about all the time. They sat there, forced them to think on defense and make tough decisions. And just like that last miss off the back wall, it forced mistakes out of Space Station Gaming, and that is perhaps the most well-deserved win.
And I think we can now officially say, I mean, we were looking at that Splice game and saying, okay, can you continue that, or is that just your best series that you can possibly come up with? It seems like no, that is their regular status on set.
Yeah, very much so. An incredibly stifling almost performance from them. They just controlled the entirety of that match, and you almost feel for Space Station after that game because there wasn't much they could do. They just didn't have anything go their way, and they were just not allowed to have anything go their way.
Yeah, they took 5 shots, and I don't even remember them, to be quite honest. It feels like the majority of that entire game. I guess there's the one from Vince, but that was just an awkward challenge, and that was how the game started off too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Just that awkward challenge that they lost in the midfield, and they turned it right around about 30 seconds later, and after that,
and they showed a level of experience as well that, you know, things can go wrong like that, and you can suddenly say to yourself, okay, we're not going to try that one again because it went wrong for us once. But no, they kept trying for it. They kept people close on the shadow, and then as soon as they got the lead, they just started to style on this match. So game 1 over to upper 90, and
clean.
They'll be feeling happy after that one.
They will be feeling happy, and on the other side of things, there's kind of 2 ways you can take that, isn't there? You know, for Space Station, it's kind of one of those, what just happened? Like, we've just been blown
there was
out
a bit
of
of a
the water,
sucker punch there.
Yeah, and you kind of think, you know, we're going to get smashed in this series, or it's one of those where you have to sort of reset a little bit. You have to go, okay, that's happened. You know, it's a fresh game now. This game's over. Let's get on with the next one. That's kind of the mentality they have to take, because if they think they're beaten already, then, you know, the next 2 games might even well not play. I mean, it was that.
Move on.
Devastating.
Go play the
Yeah,
losers
exactly.
bracket, Space Station. No.
I would honestly really like them to stay in motion. Where they're getting caught out the most is those 1v1 situations where
right in front of the
someone
net,
from upper 90 is just happy just to even just tap the ball and get into a better position, because they know that the opposition side is just sat completely still. They've got to jump up at a terrible angle, and they're just going to push it straight back because there can be no power. They've got to keep that pace going. If that means going for an earlier challenge, go for the earlier challenge rather than trying to settle down.
Well, they've got it all to do. Of course, it was a bit of a resounding victory in that first game that we just saw there, and obviously the game is about to get underway. So, gentlemen, we're going to throw it back to you one more time. Game number 2 is very much underway.
Well, it took us just over, or just under half the game, I should say, to find our first goal last time. But if upper 90 can keep up the same pace of scoring they did last time, they'll happily continue that. Rapid. Beat on the challenge. Halcyon has got a big opportunity right now.
Oh, no.
Over flicks. Especially with Vince behind him, I would like him just to have forced the challenge, trying to kill the ball dead. Would have been an easy follow-up.
Could have thrown it literally anywhere that Vince could get it, and it would have been just fine.
Now first killer. 0 people back, but just sort of shovels the shot to the wrong side.
Oh, man. What a quick turnaround from Rapid there in the midfield. He had a choice. Go the boost and give him the ball for free, or let first killer have a crack at it, and he almost put it home.
And we're seeing exactly what we saw towards the end of the last game. Upper 90, controlling in that final third.
Weak clear.
Looking to see the mistake. Double commit is forced out. Rapid has got boost. First killer steals the other one. Huge chance. Almost scored. Vince there just in time. I think first killer was aiming for a bump. Just wasn't there for it. And there is Vince completely missing out on the shot.
Wide open. Space Station just got to secure the chances they have. That's 2 big missed opportunities for them right now. And first killer and Rapid getting away with murder in game 2.
And you can almost say that they're rattled at this point in time, but every single time they miss a shot like that, it's not going to help them in the confidence department at all. Vince over to Halcyon, way over the top of him. So he's going to be forced to try and keep the play going. First killer securing some middle boost. Over to Rapid. Nice clean rotation there from them. Now back out. Wasting the possession. Now Vince can take over.
No, there's nothing after that.
They seem to be getting something, aiming for a bump. And you can see the reach of first killer to try and escape. He doesn't even stay on the goal line. He goes deep into his own net.
Drove off the back wall of it.
I mean, he'll happily try and save it from anywhere.
He's that good, baby.
Rapid.
Oh, what a catch from Vince. Just kill that attempt.
You spin, I hit you one. It's a very good strategy.
Works every time. We saw Fireburner and Squishy both do it. It was pretty awesome both times.
Something to be said for it right there is now Vince wants to try and say something about this current scoreline. Now he's going to be forced on the rotation back. Rapid is waiting around. Far side is his option. First killer for the shot.
Ooh.
What a save from Vince. Pre-jumps, doesn't even aim to challenge the ball. Instead, he predicts where the shot is going to come from.
Yeah, and that's the perfect play from Vince. You have to be very, very aware of the situation. It's so easy to try and pick a spot in the net to defend, but honestly, that just gives way too much to the opposition. He decides to cut it off at the head, and what brilliant save.
2 minutes left in this game, still 0 goals. Rapid
Rushed
to first killer, but straight down the middle. Halcyon tries to power the ball to the other end of the field. And Rapid covers well.
Really think
Loose ball.
upper 90 are just rushing a couple of their chances here when they get on offense, but otherwise still feel like they're kind of driving the pace of play here.
There's going to be a long clear. Look to try and secure some of the middle field resources. Taking some time on this dribble. It might just work out. Still feel like Space Station are trying to force dribble wins rather than dribble challenges a little bit too often. They're often not coming out on the right side of that. Alcyon to the middle. Once again, the infield pass attempted. This time around it works. Space Station have the lead.
It's been a long time since they found the back of the net, and it has to feel good. First killer and Rapid, maybe a little bit of communication errors there. They were both kind of in the same part of the field. Maybe both of them not quite sure who was supposed to go up for that save. Delays the attempt, and that's just enough to open the door for Halcyon.
Well, now they've got to hold on to this lead if they want to try and take game number 2. Rapid. Flip reset. Not even attempted. Savior medal now over to the teammate, and Vince can't get there in time. First killer scores.
A great goal here from upper 90. Rapid with a brilliant fake. Halcyon, heck of an adjustment to go out there and get it. But again, you see upper 90 just lurking around the top of the box, close to the play, not afraid of any long clears because they know there's no position for them to really get one off. And they are credited for that aggression again.
And once again, Space Station, they got into defense and they just stopped moving. If you're going to stop moving, the only place I'd really say is a good spot is up on the backboard. Because you know at least then you can cover a couple of different angles. Instead, found just being almost a little bit lazy towards the back. First killer for the backboard. Almost got the double tap. Rapid keeps that pressure on. Now Vince clears the corner. I don't know if that boost is going to turn up in time for him. It will not. No. And he wants it so badly. Wins the challenge. Now Rapid.
Big mistake.
First killer steals the boost. That Anaconda-like grip from upper 90 as they try to squeeze out their second goal of this game. First killer. He will be aiming for it. Halcyon is on that backboard and he's pushed into the corner. Best play available for him. But they are still stuck, and they've been scored on.
And this all stems from Halcyon and Vince both being on the backboard right there. They both cover the exact same options. They both end up in not the best defendable position for the follow-through because one of them should have been waiting in the net to get the second chance, but poor communication. And again, first kill in Rapid hanging out right next to him saying, don't mess up. And they do.
All the way back out. Final chance. Bumped away, over the top, but it's not on target, and it's going to roll in the most awkward way possible. Can anyone even get over there? Vince has got 0 boost, tries to be the hero. Setup is for Halcyon, but it's not going to trouble anybody. Does hit the floor, upper 90, a game away from qualification.
But the worst part of that entire series is that's kind of a gut punch for Space Station. They had 2 massive chances at the start of that game number 2. 2 pretty much wide open nets, and they beamed both of them.
Yeah, I was about to say exactly the same thing. I mean, if you want to get back into a series, you have to take those early chances, especially coming off the back of what essentially was a drubbing in that game number 1. That could have been a completely different game. You take those 2 first chances, you're up 2-0, you can play a different game. You can change it up a little bit, but that's going to really knock the wind out of your sails. And then, I mean, the first goal that upper 90 put on the board is a piece of brilliance once again, and that almost compounds the misery.
Missing free nets. It cuts deep, man. Cuts deeper than
feels
you know.
Bad, man. Feels bad,
It feels real bad. And the best part is Space Station even had a chance to get it going. That right there, that first goal of the series. And then Vince just a slightly slow rotation and couldn't quite make it there. And a great equalizer. And after that, upper 90 again, just like you said, Shogun, the Python grip.
Yeah, I mean, in that sort of situation when you've got 2 players on the backboard, you need someone who can face onto the ball so that way they can follow up their own touch. Because Halcyon was facing backwards. He's not going to be able to follow up a touch that he's put behind him. So it just... all credit upper 90 because they are forcing this situation. They are forcing the gameplay to almost just slow down to a crawl. And that allows these mistakes to actually happen where people are overthinking. You got to remember, in Rocket League, a lot of people don't actually think. They just do it. They just do it, okay? They don't actually, you know, a split-second decision comes in front of them and then they suddenly do the very first thing in their heads. And the very first thing in Space Station's heads at this very point in time is...
at least hit the ball.
Yeah, how do I get back into this? Because they have got to force a reverse sweep, otherwise Splice await. In the lower bracket, and upper 90 starting off as they mean to. 1 goal, it didn't even take 20 seconds.
And another gut punch to Spacestation here. Weak clear from Vince. Even worse, Halcyon bites at it, isn't aware of where Rapid is on the pitch and that he's got him clean beat. And that's a free goal all the way.
It definitely looked like Halcyon was expecting that closer to the bumper of his car. Would have been a very nice clear if it did work out, but that touch there from Vince just opened up that defense. There's going to be first kill on the backboard. Look to try and grab a goal from a ludicrous angle. Up a 90, stealing the show so far.
They really have. I mean, we didn't give them too much credit in their first game that we saw out of them versus Splice back in day number 1, and we see them again here on day 3, and boy, it's been a fireworks show.
Vince, far corner. Going to commit the closest player. Usually Rapid would be going for that one. Rapid is going to try and take this down to the other end.
Oh my gosh. And he got the boost.
Like a sticky grenade at this point in time. They can't get rid of it, and Rapid going to pick it up. Can't quite go too far. The ball already running away from him.
Ooh, chance here for Spacestation.
Back out, Halcyon tries to keep the pressure on. Vince all the way back, and that boost did not turn up, and it's stolen away. The map refusing to cooperate with Spacestation. And now Rapid, he knows one of them's low on boost, and he's gonna score it himself. What? That, ladies and gentlemen, is filth.
Oh, that's the goal of the day right there, and we're not even halfway through. Oh, that's brilliant. Got the flip reset. I'm done. I'll see you later.
Spin.
I'll see you later. Oh, Rapid, that was brilliant. Off the back wall, gets a flip reset.
Can you assist yourself for the assist of the day?
Honestly, he should. We need one.
That almost should be allowed, and there's faked out. We talked about sucker punches earlier on. That was a sucker kick. Doesn't even use it. Once again, we sort of picked up on this yesterday and the day before that, where you see a player go up for that flip reset,
you gotta
respect that they're always going to use it. No one ever tends to go up to challenge.
You gotta respect it. If you don't,
I would almost say don't at this point. Just
it gets put over your head if you don't.
Most of the time, though, we're seeing a lot of these players bounce off at a terrible angle to go for it. I would say your odds are better. Yes, you're going to get scored on by a couple of them.
But you still got
so many options. But ram your face
options
into the situation.
You got so many options.
I like the option where I'm proactive achieves, not the option where I'm looking at someone just going, hey, have you got the skill?
Are you good enough to score this goal? That's a dare and a half right there.
You wouldn't.
You won't. You won't.
Yes! Vince brings us back by 1.
Oh,
this isn't over just yet. Halcyon's setup incredibly precise.
It's a great touch from Vince as well. Well out of reach. Got that slight tilt backwards on the car to force it over to the left-hand side of the net. If he gets a little bit too complacent with that shot, probably gets saved. Well-placed ball.
Rapid. Gonna take his time here. He's got plenty of boost. No real challenge for the time being. Comes in very late. Rapid's controlling the ball very well, but Halcyon sweeps up after Vince's early challenge. Now looking to try and go for a setup. Everyone committed over in the corner is going to make getting a goal from this situation incredibly difficult for Spacestation.
Oh. I was about to say, why not add another sick one to the list?
Back down. Just caressed over to the side as Vince flick from him, and he's got the boost. This is big right now from Spacestation. They've got to make something from this situation. But the pre-jump from First Killer reads where Halcyon wants to go.
And Spacestation would really like to have something
on
the board.
Oh, 1-goal game, wow. Up at 90, being forced to sweat.
And I was about to say, Spacestation would really like something here before about the minute-and-a-half mark, and they find it. Rapid finally beat to a challenge coming off the sidewall for once. Halcyon picked a great angle, really dove at that one hardcore, and just, I don't even think he was trying to put it in. It just kind of happened that way, but either way, if you're Spacestation, you've got some real chances here in Game 2 now. There's plenty of time on the clock to work with.
Seemed also comfortable for upper 90 just a second ago. Oh my, has that switched. For Spacestation, the work is not over just yet. One more goal required. Otherwise, they will be eliminated and lose their chance at that $100,000 prize pool.
Not clean.
There's going to be Halcyon. He's got it out. First Killer tries to win the ball, but came at a very bad angle. Still dangerous. Another goal for upper 90 is very much on the cards. Vince looking to try and get a set. He can actually get something from the ceiling, but kept moving forwards. Halcyon shot. Will not be too much danger, but everyone from upper 90 on the back line. How few times have we seen this? Been stuck back. Space Station taking the boost, looking to control the time. Challenge there from Rapid. He's managed to keep this going. But has that freed up some room for a clear? Yes, it has. Upper 90 escape the danger.
And that was really the first sustained attack that Space Station have had all game, and they've got a chance to continue it here. Halcyon, a big challenge win up on the side wall, steals the boost away as well.
Rapid.
First killer.
Only out to Vince. Double tap is on the cards. Double tap!
Got it.
Nailed!
He nailed his right out of the corner. This is no easy task. A great tap to himself, a brilliant read. First killer actually had a chance to clear that ball, misread the bounce, saw it going out more towards the top of the box, and unfortunately went straight sideways. And Rapid sails right on through, and Vince snipes the net.
3 goals down. 1 more to go for Space Station. Rapid with the flip reset this time around. Halcyon more than aware that Vince was behind him, happy to go for the challenge and force the early move. That bounce wasn't too great, however, for Space Station.
This game just got tense.
Got real tense, real quick. Remember, Space Station's tournament lives are on the line. That bounce was pretty much the worst thing possible for Halcyon. Won't be able to trap it. Upper 90. If they can get this goal, they will knock out Space Station. If not, we go to game number 4. Halcyon, ball on his hood. Forces it forward, saved it from first killer. Danger still around, dropped.
Whoa, they got it.
And that is going to be the challenge win. First killer, open goal to his name. Space Station dropped to the lower brackets.
I was on Vince's camera that whole time. Never in a million years did he think that that ball was going to get cleared in that manner. He was sitting on the top of the box, waiting for them to bungle that clear. And they just, they didn't pinch it, but they tipped it right off one another, and it went straight down the pitch, and Vince just caught way off guard. There was no way he was expecting that. That was brilliant.
Well, I mean, that was an exciting way to end everything, wasn't it? Yeah, a bit of overtime action. But, yeah, ultimately, Upper 90 eSports, you know, they will qualify, and they're going to be our second team to qualify now, joining NRG2 as the first qualifier from today. But, I mean, Space Station, it seemed like they finally worked things out, but it was just too little too late for them.
I'm kind of just sitting here shaking my head because the last thing I expected was to have First Killer and Rapid come out here and just, there's no other saying it, they crushed Space Station. Now that being said, Space Station sort of beat themselves. They had a lot of opportunities to take games and put themselves in excellent positions to at least come back. Like in that game 3, they fought all the way back. But this series could have easily been 1-1 after game 2.
And this is definitely a team that I'm looking at right now. And yes, if they were to go up against NRG2, they would not be the favorites. However, they're the first team I'm looking at and just say, okay, if you implement your strategy, you stand a chance.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a very good point, and one thing that we should remind you guys at home of as well is the fact that we had 16 goals scored during that series, so that is 160 mils going to be donated to the World Food Program over in the USA, thanks to our fantastic sponsor, Soylent. So congratulations for the team. Another 160 mils in the bag, gentlemen. We're doing well today. We're doing all right, aren't we?
I believe that's 400. I've done mental math here.
Real
I haven't
fast?
used the sheet.
So you said you weren't going to do math all week,
well,
Shogun.
I got it right the first time. Let's see if I got it right.
I'm not going to say that seems like
Guaranteeing
a
it was.
very rough estimate from Shogun, to be honest with you.
Right
But,
about
24 in game 1, wasn't I not? Was it not?
No, game number 1 was 17. I don't even remember. I can go back and count. We'll figure it out. Tell you what, we'll figure it out during the break.
I'm
got
guaranteeing
the
I'm
important
right.
number is that we had 16 goals scored, which equates to 160 mils. Remember, if you want to get involved in the fight against hunger over in North America as well, go over to wfpusa.org/Shogun. Universal Open. Not
Sorry,
Shogun.
I was too busy trying to gloat that I might be right.
wfpusa.org/Universal Open. We got there eventually. There
we did.
But yeah, our second qualifier for today. Now we enter the Shark Pit, gentlemen. This is where, you know, teams are going to be sent home. This is their last chance now.
And before we move on to that point, one last thing about Upper 90. It's not all sunshine and roses for them. I mean, don't get me wrong. They played great series, well-deserved qualification, but they really need to work on their defense going into regionals. That's the big thing I want them to fix. Because even in that last game 3, when Space Station got that offense going, Rapid and First Killer didn't look the cleanest on defense. Some awkward rotations, some weak touches, and teams at regionals are really going to capitalize on that.
Here's a very scary thing, though. From our schedule, Space Station are up next. They have no time to recover. And they've got a tough match.
That's going to be a real mental challenge for them, but one that they're going to have to overcome. So let's give you all at home right now our brisk bracket update and show you how things are looking at the moment before we enter that shark pit of the lower bracket. As we can see here, we'll have Sathstro taking on Splice and Space Station taking on Birds and Bees.
Hey, Shogun, do you want to amend your previous statement?
I don't think I quite got that right.
Yeah, just bring that one back. Bring it back.
Yeah.
Shogun, we'll give you
Splice versus Sathstro and Space Station versus Birds and Bees.
All right, there we go.
So, you know what? That could be very interesting. Sathstro versus Splice, obviously, they'll be up next for us. Sathstro, they got some things going up against NRG2.
They played decently versus NRG2. It's just how do you stop the machine, you know? That was the thing about it. And up against Splice, if Splice plays like we've seen them,
I mean, there's two sides to Splice, really. There's the really good Splice, and then there's the other Splice.
What are you doing? And
we don't know which one we're going to get yet.
The way I see it with Splice at the moment is the really good Splice or the slightly lazy Splice is what I saw in those first couple of rounds from them. But they definitely
we've seen more Splice than you on.
That's very, very true. That's very, very true. But anyway, let's remind you all at home of the hashtag. We want to hear from you guys. As always, we want to get some of your tweets featured on the broadcast as well. So use that hashtag UOSF2. It's just up there, just above Achieves' head. We thought we'd put it there because we like directing everything towards you, Achieves. Exactly. Attention. We take it away from the man at the end. But anyway, that's going to do us for right now. When we do get back, it will be all about elimination and qualification. It's going to be tense. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.